Today's Thursday, April 6th. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Dash, Monero, and Ethereum. So we're going to continue that theme. And then I'm going to add in today Litecoin. So that'll be a new coin to take a look at. We'll take a look at the Litecoin chart. Starting out with Bitcoin, I spoke 2 days ago about Bitcoin entering, getting out of the cloud and then having some indecisive candles. And we talked about support down at 1070 and an outside chance of going to 1160 or more. I kind of didn't expect it to break out like that. I thought it was going to reconsolidate, maybe come down. But it's definitely shown some strong strength in this up move. We've got a twist in the cloud going bullish. I don't see anything to hold it back right now. I'm not clear why it's rising because there's been some bad news, but sometimes you just have to listen to the charts, listen to the markets, put aside any kind of opinions or biases that you may have, and act according to what you see and not what you think. So this is one of those instances where I thought we were going to go down and we did not. But the charts, it was in the charts. If you read the charts, I said it was possible. So I'm happy about that. I've got some long-term holdings in Bitcoin and just keep an eye on it. Let's take a look at Dash. So Dash is a coin that had a big run up. I've been personally pretty poor with my timing, so I kind of threw out what I knew and re-looked at Dash again. So I've got a couple things on here I want to talk about. First of all, I want to draw your attention to this box right here on the left. This box was a really rapid price rise for Dash. It really blew through this whole level. It went from one Fibonacci level to the next within 4 or 5 candles. So that's less than 1 day. Within about 12 or 16 hours, it had a tremendous rise. So now that it's come back down to this Fibonacci level, you can see that it went right through that same level, just like a knife through butter. And now it's come back up. So what is Dash going to do now? Well, there's a couple scenarios. If you apply Elliott wave, which you would have, your wave A, B, C, that's your drawdown. That's pretty classic Elliott wave. If we were to say that this is a reset, this punch down and this huge wick resets Dash, then we could say you'd have wave 1, 2, 3 way up here to the next fib, drop back down to the fib, and then come back up. That would put a target of Dash back over 100. I'm skeptical of that. I think Dash is not going to do that, but I'm keeping my mind open and looking at the chart as if I've never looked at it before. That would be one possibility. So you could put a buy in around .073 with a stop around .0695 if you're a big Dash fan. I'm not planning to do that, but that would be one scenario. I think what's more likely would be that it's going to break down below this Fibonacci level, the 38%. And if it does that, you could enter around 0.565. I think that would be confirmation that we've got into a negative range. Then it's going to have a pretty big pull down to 0.42. That would be a potential short. So that's what I see for Dash. Nothing to do with it now. Keep an eye on it and see what happens. The bulls would love to see this play out. I personally think we're not going to do that. I think we're going to come back down again. The only thing that I have about that is we had this big punch down. We had this big capitulation, and that capitulation may have actually reset Dash. So it's a matter of, will it come back down again, or did this clear a lot of things out and Dash is a brand new market? Okay, great. So let's talk about Monero. I posted this chart a couple days ago, and I said, look, Monero's bounced off this line 3 times. It's bounced off support 3 times. Not only is it the Fibonacci level, it was the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. So this was a very, very critical level. And what happened was, playing it forward, it danced along the edge of the cloud for several candles, and then it finally just left the cloud and it capitulated, broke down. So the support did not hold, and that was really key support from Monero. Right now it's sitting at 0.164. And I consider a close below 0.165 on a 4-hour candle to be the sign that we're going to be going much lower. So let's take a look at that one other way. That was my bullish scenario. The bearish scenario is this. Really, really simple. That other chart had a ton of information on it, but this was the counterpoint to that chart, and that's the descending triangle. And the descending triangle one, you can see that it was lower highs, bouncing off of support, and then once it broke, it came down. So target for Monero, probably .014, bottom of this box. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So Ethereum is this one is really interesting. It really, you could go with a lot of different scenarios. So like Dash, it has a large box, an area of price that it really went through very quickly. It skipped a whole Fibonacci level in a few candles. So there's not much support resistance established in the side of this box, maybe at the top of the box a little bit. That also happens to be a 50% Fibonacci retracement. So this area right here is pretty key for Ethereum. Up, it bounced, hit resistance, support, resistance, support. Once it broke resistance, boom, big move. Now it's come down, it's hit support, resistance, and now it's in the between. So really interesting with Ethereum. Will this box repeat if this repeats and breaks down? Another thing to consider is that it is breaking down out of the Ichimoku cloud. Now, it may just reverse and come back up, but if it breaks the cloud on its way down to Fibonacci and we've got a Kumo twist, I think that the more likely scenario is that Ethereum is going to break down below this, out of the cloud, below its Fibonacci, and possibly visit .031, especially if Bitcoin's moving up. So Bitcoin moving up, Ethereum coming out of the cloud, approaching a Fibonacci, getting close to an area where it has an established support. I would be bearish on Ethereum right now, with the caveat that it's Ethereum and it's really difficult to know what's going to happen. There was also some information about an initial coin offering and Ethereum being part of that, and Ethereum wasn't actually part of it, but the people who used Ethereum as their initial coin offering, and it sounds like it was a scam. So although it's not Ethereum's fault, it's not good news. It's not good press. So that's my thoughts on Ethereum. I would be more bearish than bullish at this point. So let's take a look at Litecoin. So Litecoin was one of the first altcoins. Charlie Lee, who I believe he works at Coinbase now, is if not the founder, very much involved in Litecoin. And it's had a tremendous pump. It had, within a couple candles, doubled in price, did some discovery, and now it's been in a pretty strong bull trend. Broke out of a pitchfork, which was not really that well established, but nonetheless, it came up to a whole another level. And now it's bouncing around about 0.01. The thing about Litecoin that I think makes it different than Ethereum and Dash is they are getting closer and closer to activating SegWit on the Litecoin network. And I think that may really cause a price spike for Litecoin, just because, that's something that's been waited for. It's like would prove SegWit in a working market, would have big implications for Bitcoin, would give Litecoin an advantage over all the other altcoins. So while normally I would look at this kind of a rapid rise, I'm a little tempered by the SegWit news. So I bought a little bit of Litecoin at .082. I sold half of it just over .01. I'm holding the other half just to see what's going to happen. It's not a lot of money, so I'm not attached to it. But I have, my thought is that the SegWit adoption may drive another spike in Litecoin. The only other thing is, looking at the technicals, there's a lot of space for it to fall. The other thing is with Litecoin, there are a lot of people that held Litecoin for a very, very long time. So they may welcome an opportunity to sell Litecoin if they were upside down. So those are my thoughts on Litecoin. Something I'm watching, I have interest in. I don't have a lot of money at stake, but those are my thoughts. If you guys are interested, ask questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll make another video soon.